I'm Cynthia, and I'm the host of the reality series CPS the Horror Stories. Not a social worker or an attorney, but a mom who had her kids kidnapped by CPS a few years ago, and then after 2 years of fighting, I did get my kids back. I'm here to simply expose the truth of the corruption that CPS causes families, and I have this platform so that parents can share their side of the story. So, Danelle, can you introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from and what you do and how many kids you have.
Yes, my name is Danelle Wilson, and I am from Texas. I do home health care, and I've been doing that on and off for about 7 years now. And I have 5 children, but my mother has custody of my oldest son. So,
Why is that?
when I had him, I was really young, and I wasn't mentally prepared for a child. I thought I was, but I wasn't. When he came, it was too much. Um, so me and my mom decided to give her custody so that the state would not get involved and put him in like foster care. So I think that was the best decision I could have made.
So, were you in the foster system at all?
No, I wasn't. When me and my sister were younger, my dad did call CPS, and it was a quick, I guess it would just be like a investigation, and it was closed. So it wasn't, it never went to, you know, it didn't go that far.
Okay. Um, so, do you still get to see and have a relationship with your son that your mom has?
I do. I see him 3 or 4 times a week because I go and I take care of her and my stepdad because they're both their health is not the best. So I do see him a lot. I do.
How old is he?
He will be 17 in December.
Okay, so he's older.
Right.
Okay. Does he call you mom or does he call grandma mom?
Uh, we don't have the best of relationship right now. Um, he he calls me whatever name comes to mind. Um, and I really can't do anything about that because it's always, you didn't raise me. Okay, well, I guess I'll have to take that for now. Hopefully you'll change your mind when you get older, but
How old were you when you had him?
I was 17.
Okay. Maybe
I
you
was
should hand him a baby and say, here.
Here, you try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a responsible thing, that you chose to do.
Right.
I'm sure it was hard.
It was, and I don't want to use it as an excuse because it was a choice that I made. I turned into a really bad drug addict, and it just it crushed me. But it was the best thing for me to do. And then when it actually hit that I no longer have custody of him, it it was bad. It was really bad. I was in and out of jail. Um, I caught a bunch of felonies by the time I was 19. So it was a downward spiral.
Okay. How old are your other kids?
Um, 13, 12, 10, and a year and a half. Well, almost 2. Next November, she'll be 2.
Okay. And so let's go over why CPS was in your life.
Which time?
What have the allegations been?
There's been a lot of allegations. I have dealt with CPS a lot. I have a very extensive history with CPS. There's been allegations from just like a simple neglect to running a prostitution ring in my house. There have been some crazy allegations, absolutely insane. A lot of the allegations came after my 13, 11-year-old, and 10-year-old, when their dad passed away in 2013 from a drug overdose. Their family called CPS on me 2 or 3 times a month. And it was just insane. It was crazy. The worst. I'm trying to raise these kids. I'm having to deal with CPS. I've got bills. It was just, and nobody wanted to help me. Nobody. And a lot of the cases were open and closed because they knew it was just retaliation calls is what they called it. It's been a lot. The last really big case I had was in 2013. Or no, I'm sorry, 2016. What happened with that was my oldest son's father had came to me, and he was living out of a hotel. Now, I know I should not have had him at my house. I know that. But being as how I have a child with him, I somewhat felt obligated to let him come over and take a shower, get something to eat. When he showed up, he had 2 other people with him. So I let them take a shower and go out to their car and wait. Somewhere, somehow, my son had stepped on a needle. Now, I did not know if it was from their father because he was a type 2 diabetic and he had a bunch of the diabetic needles. I didn't know if they had gotten it outside because the place where I was living, it was drug infested. I didn't know where the needle came from. So I took him to the emergency room. Check him because I don't know where it came from. So they called CPS, of course, but I already knew that was going to happen. So I had that case. Well, my boyfriend at the time had started molesting my 9-year-old daughter. That turned into another case. So now this little case turned into a big case. So now I have 2 cases. So then I had 3 choices. I had give them up to the state, leave my household and go to a shelter, or drop them off, I think what they called like a safe home or something like that. I could take them and drop them off. I could visit them all day, but I had to leave them there. So while I'm trying to make the decision on what I'm going to do, because of CPS lies, and I wasn't for sure if what goes on in the safe home, would they really be safe there? What would be my best decision? So as I'm thinking, I get a call saying that I need to pick my kids up from school and take them to the CPS office to give them up to the state. So I go get my kids and we're sitting in the office. We're there for about 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours. Nobody has a temporary foster home for 3 kids. They would have 1, but then the supervisor says that's not good enough because I had 3 kids at the time and they all needed to go. So as we're sitting there trying to find a foster home, it's like I had this person, I had this person, I had another person, and it seemed like the supervisor always found an excuse as to why that person was not okay to leave my kids there. As we're sitting there, the car lot that I'm getting my car from is outside trying to repo my car. So I'm like, you know what? I can't do this. I cannot do this. Just take the kids, take the car. I'm done. I can't do this. I don't know what to do. So the caseworker at that time, hold on, baby. The caseworker at that time, she says, you know what? She says, just go home. Take your kids, go home. We'll figure this out tomorrow. I said, okay. So they let me keep my car. I got to keep my kids. Okay. So hush, hey. Shh. So the next day I get a call and it's the caseworker and she says, either you can give me your kids today or you can go to a shelter. Okay. I guess we're going to go to a shelter. We'll be there tomorrow. She said, no, you have to be there by 4 o'clock and it's 2:30. Oh, okay. Well, the closest shelter is almost 2 hours away. I still got to pack clothes. I mean, I made it there 3 minutes before 4 o'clock just for them to tell me they don't have a bed. Okay. I said, I'm not leaving. You're going to have to call the police and have me escorted because if I'm not here, they're taking my kids. And if they take my kids, y'all are going to have to take me because this is not acceptable.
Right.
So I called the caseworker and I said, you need to call up here and you need to tell them they need to put me in a bed now. So she calls up there, I get in a bed. So we're there for about 2 months. Only to find out I could have left 2 weeks after getting checked in. So my mom done rented my house out. The people that were in the house were running it as a drug house. So I get home and I'm looking and I kick everybody out the house. And it took me a week to get my house renovated. Hey, it took me a week to get back in my house. I'd spent $2,700 fixing everything. And insane. So we get back in the house and the caseworker comes in and she looks at the house and she's seen the house before. 2 weeks later, my case is closed. She fought hard to get my case closed because it was insane what they were making me do. I went through outpatient rehab. When I did the intake for the outpatient rehab, they said that there was no reason for me to be there, so they had to come up with some reason for me to be there to please CPS.
Have you ever been on drugs?
I have. I will say that on some of my cases that if it hadn't have been for CPS, I probably would have overdosed and I probably wouldn't be here.
Oh, so you were using recently to when CPS showed up?
With this particular case, no. I had already decided the beginning of the year I'm not doing anything. Nothing. I'm not going to smoke weed. I don't even drink. So I decided, you know. Okay, so this case, right when everything shut down for the pandemic, it had been probably a month. Everything was crazy. My kids were being ripped out of their schedule And my kids, they do well with schedules. They love schedules because they know what's going to happen next. They're, you know, it's a sense of security. So everybody is trying to get used to the schedule. Everybody is crammed in the same house. We don't have any time away from each other. We can't go anywhere. So it's just complete and utter chaos. And on top of that, my 11-year-old is starting to hit puberty, so his emotions are raging, his hormones are raging, and he decided that he was going to fight me. Okay?
Yep.
I didn't hit him. I followed what my past parenting classes advised me to do, was to try and restrain him from hurting me, hurting himself, or anyone else, and call the police. It's exactly what I did. When the police showed up, I let him go. I went outside. He had no marks on him. Nowhere. No marks. I had marks on me. On my back, on my face. I had cut my finger open. So one of the police officers ended up calling CPS. Okay, so the first caseworker on this case comes out. She comes in the house. She takes her pictures. She talks to the kids, takes pictures of the kids. The case was supposed to be closed. It was just supposed to be an initial investigation. It was supposed to be closed. So she comes over. I sign the HIPAA form. She leaves. So I'm thinking the case is closed. It's done. Okay, cool. I get a call about a month later from a social worker. And I'm like, great. So now I have a new case. I said, what is this new case about? He said, no, this is the case from back in March. I said, well, this is supposed to be closed. I'm not understanding what's going on. Like, this doesn't make any sense. And he informs me because of my past cases, they want to refer me to family services. Okay, whatever. All right, let's do it. I'm ready. So he comes over. He takes pictures of my house, which I should have said something, but I didn't. Walking from my living room into my kitchen, he's standing behind me and I see a flash. Well, from where he's standing, there's nothing he could really take a picture of but me. So why are you taking a picture of me, like my behind area? Why? Like, okay, that's why would they even send a mail out to my house?
Right.
Don't do that. I've already expressed that in past cases. Do not send a man to my house. I have a daughter. Don't do that because you're not going to get anywhere with me.
Good for you.
So I turned around and I looked at him. I said, what did you take a picture of? And he said, oh, I took a picture of your living room. And I just kind of looked at him like, then why did I see the flash in front of me? Whatever. Get your pictures and get out of my house. So he gets his pictures and he leaves. The next thing I know, I have another caseworker calling me. Okay. So she's an older woman. Okay. And, you know, I understand this job is very stressful. I understand that they get a lot of people that are always on the defense and that they have to be stern and they have to be matter of fact. And I get that. But as she's talking to me, she's making me feel like I'm stupid. And I said, wait a minute. I said, hold on. I said, let's get one thing clear. If you show me respect, I will show you respect. I understand that you have a crazy job, but I'm not the one to get disrespectful to, because I will get very disrespectful back with you. You don't treat people like that, especially when you work in the public and you deal with people. You don't do that. So immediately, I need your supervisor's name and number. And she tells me, well, you can make this case hard if you want to. I said, why? Because I want your supervisor's name and number. I said, that's my right. And you're supposed to give me that. You're supposed to give me that, period. Even if I don't ask, that's mandatory. You give me that information. So she backs down a little bit and she gives me the information. Now, I don't know if she has, and I don't know if I'm saying this right or if I would offend anyone, but I don't know if she has an issue with me being white and my daughter being half black and her daddy being black. But every time we had a conversation, she would tell me, well, you need to make sure your other kids understand that the little one is half black and that she's going to be facing different situations in life. And I said, okay. I said, now look. I said, we don't have to do that. I said, they completely understand that there is a different race in the house. I said, but we don't do that race stuff here. And they understand that. They know what goes on in this world. I keep them updated with the crazy stuff that goes on. I said, that's not, well, you just need to make sure that they understand. I said, oh, they understand. They completely understand. So we start going on with this case. And at first, we didn't have to do any drug testing because this case was not about drugs. I even told her, I said, well, if you want me to, I will go take a drug test just to appease y'all. Because now I'm at a stage in my life that I can volunteer a drug test and know that I'm going to pass. So she says, no, I don't think that's necessary. I think you'll be okay. Not unless you really want to go take one. I said, no, I really don't. I said, but if it will help this case move along faster, I said, I'll go do it. So a month and a half goes by. We're doing these psychosocial evaluations. We're doing a million different evaluations. So I get a call from this clinic that I have to do a substance abuse evaluation. And I'm talking to the man, and he says, well, have you failed any drug tests? I said, no. I said, I haven't even taken not one drug test at all. And he says, well, why do you have to do this? I said, well, I don't know. You tell me. Y'all work with CPS. I said, you tell me why I have to do this. So we get through with the evaluation. Of course, I pass. So I text the caseworker and I said, the man that did the substance abuse evaluation, he should be sending you the paperwork over. She says, what substance abuse evaluation? The one that you sent over, the one that you signed paperwork to send over. She said, well, where did you do it at? I said, where did you send the paperwork?
The wrong address?
Thank you.
Was it?
Well, no, she doesn't remember sending it.
I was going to say that was going to be my next choice of words. She probably never even sent it.
Either she sent it and don't remember it, or she didn't send it. I don't know, but I did it, and I passed it. So then she tells me, well, I will go ahead and call them and let them know you don't have to do it. I said, for what? I already did it. I asked her, I said, are you not listening to me? I mean, what's going on here? Why? Why? You know what? You have a good day. I'm done with this conversation. You have a good day. So she will text me rude. She is a very rude lady. Just so you know that CPS can always make unannounced visits. Yeah, I know that. I understand that. But what you need to understand is that I work, I have kids, and I'm not going to take off my job to come and meet you at my house. So if you don't want to make a blank trip, you can call me and tell me you're on your way. Or you can let me know a couple of days in advance that you're going to be there, because I'm not going to take off my job to meet you. I'm sorry, I'm not. At all. I'm not. So I can get fired.
Right.
So I can come back and say that I can't take care of my kids. I said, no, you're not going to trap me like that. No, ma'am. I said, and CPS policy, because that's her thing. Well, CPS policy. No, it's not CPS policy. Give me this. I told her, I said, CPS policy is that y'all work around my schedule. I don't work around yours. You work around mine. You came into my life. I didn't come into yours. And as far as I'm concerned, everybody that I'm having to do these counseling and evaluations, they don't understand why this case is open. I did nothing wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. I did what I was advised to do by CPS through a past case. I didn't do anything wrong. I said, if anybody needs to do any type of counseling or anything, that should be my son. Not everybody. Everybody in the house has to go through counseling. That's insane. That's insane. My youngest daughter's dad, he has to take off of work to do the counseling. We have to go do drug tests now. This is insane. Absolutely insane. When I call to ask to a supervisor, there's always an issue. It's, well, why don't you call your other friend? I won't say her name. She works for CPS. She's a good friend of mine. I talk to her weekly, even without a case. I talk to her. We'll call her and ask her about CPS policy. No, I'm telling you, because she gets a new supervisor every week, every 2 weeks. No, I need that supervisor's name and number. Period. CPS policy is you give that to me. And she's always saying how the reason why that this case has gone on this far is because they want to make sure when my son gets older that he doesn't continue to try to fight me. And I tell her, when he gets older, that's none of your business. When he turns 18, 17, 18, that's none of your business what we do.
Right.
Period. And the thing is, the way that this world is going right now with COVID and the election and they really need to switch up how they deal with people, because the way CPS used to work even 3 years ago is not going to work the same now, because we're faced with different situations in life. It's insane. I mean, somebody that's dealing with CPS should not be afraid to try and contact a supervisor or even ask for a supervisor's name and number. I mean, come on. Let's get real, please. Let's get down to what it really is. Now, there are some caseworkers that I will say that they really try to help. They really do. And I've had a few of them. But the caseworker that I have now is by far the worst I have ever came in contact with. I am a very honest person. Harley, Hey, as a matter of fact, the last time that I had spoke with her, like over the phone and not through text, she had called me and she was very rude, very rude. She was just, she was being ugly, really ugly. And she says, what issues or what problems do we have that you just have to speak to my supervisor? I said, whoa, what are you talking about? I don't have any issues or problems. I said, I'm not understanding like what you're talking about. She says, well, you had texted my supervisor. I said, yes, I did. I said, because you had asked me yesterday to send you all the doctor's offices and all the doctors that my children go to. And I simply told you, you have that information. It's in my file. I have sent it to you 4 times. You have that information. You have it. I should not have to give it to you again. You have it. I'm not going to micromanage you. Just like you're not going to micromanage me.
Right.
You have that. You've got it. Do your job. You want to mess with me? Do your job. It's not my job.
Yeah.
So I wasn't trying to tell on her. It was, she had just got off of a couple of days off of work, and then we had the storm hit. So then she was off extra days. So I was just trying to contact her supervisor to see what all medical information that she actually needed. What all services do I need to complete to make sure I didn't miss out on anything, because I honestly feel like she's the type of caseworker to go back and say, oh, well, you didn't do this because you didn't tell me. Still have not seen a safety plan. And this has been going on for months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you have a court date?
I haven't gone to court. It didn't reach there.
Hold on a minute. Hold on 1 minute. 1 second. You're telling me that this whole time, you haven't had one court paper, one court date, because there's no case against you. You need to shut them out. Tell them, when you come back with a warrant, so the case is not open. It can't be. If you have not gone to court and seen a judge and there's nothing in place and they haven't taken your kids, the door and phone, no more. Period.
Yeah.
Go sit down. I'm serious. Like,
yeah.
You tell them, and I wouldn't even respond to them anymore because they don't have any hold over you. Okay, you know what? Before I give that advice, what state are you in? I'm pretty sure I'm on my grounds, but what state are you in?
I'm in Texas.
Okay, I want you on Saturday night. Do not forget, I want you to call and ask my attorney, because we do a radio show Saturday nights. I want you to call and tell him, CPS has been bugging me really fast, like this. CPS has been bugging me and in my life for months. They have not taken my kids. They have never given me a warrant. They've made me do all this, excuse my language, but this shit without a judge backing them up. Can I, like, not talk to them anymore and just shut my door and not respond to anything? I'm almost positive, because I'm pretty sure, at least in California, the answer is yes. Until there's a warrant and a court paper. And you don't need to talk to them.
The biggest issue I have with that is I do have a lawyer on standby. I have a CPS lawyer and I have a criminal lawyer. And it's some of the best ones that you can get where I'm at. And the lawyer's advice to me was, because of my extensive, I've had 26, 27 cases. And because of that.
But are they cases or investigations?
They
How Have you received paperwork for all of those?
Three of them went to actual court.
Okay, then only 3 were cases. The other ones were investigations. Because if you don't go to court, you don't see a judge, there's nothing signed by the judge, it's not a case. It's simply them and their power trying to rule over us. I'm not referring to, I'm saying
I know.
us stupid people, because we think we get so fucking scared of what they're going to say and do that we just start shaking in our pants and we're like, okay, I'll do whatever you say because I'm scared. But they cannot remove your kids without a warrant unless it's imminent danger. And it doesn't sound like any of your cases or investigations have been danger.
There was a couple. There was a few where they could have snatched them right then and there. But that also goes along with not all caseworkers are shitty people. Like the lady that I speak to weekly, she had told her supervisor that if you take her kids, I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice and I'm done. So there's a lot of these social workers are, they get big heads behind the letters after their last name, and I see that, and it's horrible because and I hate to say it like this, I do, because of everything that's going on. In this case alone, I have dealt with nothing but Black people, and they treat me like I am nothing until they find out I'm with a Black man, and that's when they somewhat give me a little bit of respect. And it's like, for one, don't do that. Don't. Because it doesn't hurt my feelings. I've been called a lot of things other than my name. You know, I don't get my feelings hurt very often. I understand that this job is not easy. But do not automatically assume you know what's going on just because you were called. The parenting class lady, which she actually discharged me 2 weeks early, because after we had this family team meeting that didn't go in their favor, she asked me, why did she get so much wrong information? I said, well, I don't know, you tell me. Because you work for them. You got your information from them. In the first 3 sessions that me and her had, she was just treating me like I was just a piece of shit mom. And I'm like, no, that's clearly not the case. I mean, look, they've had every chance in the world to take these kids and they haven't. I said, so therefore I have beat the state of Texas so many times. Y'all can't. I will go along with y'all just to make you happy, and so that it is on record the next time y'all come pounding at my door, that I can throw these papers in your face and tell you to leave me the hell alone. I said, but whenever y'all start to get to the point that y'all think that y'all know exactly what my parenting style is,
Girl, you need to move.
I know. Trust me, I know.
Get out of there.
Yeah. When, and I hate to say it, but when my parents pass away, I'm gone. But I can't leave them because I'm all they have.
I know.
I'm all they have, and I can't.
Take them with you. Move them all out.
I wish I could, but my stepdad, he's got the best cancer doctors out here, so I can't, like, you know, and he doesn't have too much longer to go, and I don't like to say it like that, but.
What about a different county?
You know, I could go to another county, but then it's like, it's from what I understand, yes, different county has different ways of dealing with CPS, but it's still under the state of Texas. So everything pretty much gets ran through the same office. So it's like I'm still going to be dealing with the same bullshit Texas laws anywhere I go here. Now, if I get a chance to move to Colorado, I'm gone. I'm going to Colorado. I mean, I suffer so bad anxiety because every knock on my door is, oh my God, it's CPS.
Right.
I am afraid to spank my children
I know.
of CPS. Now, I have had a couple of investigators that came in and told me, if you don't yank his ass up and whip his ass right now, you're going to get a case for neglect. I can't. Y'all scare me so bad. I am so terrified of y'all that y'all run my life even when y'all are not in my life. I said, do you realize that you have kids walking around, just walking up and shooting other kids and stealing stuff because of y'all? Y'all are the reason.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard my story when the police showed up at my house recently.
No.
Because you see, I want to beat my kids. Want, should, need,
Yeah.
but don't. And
Yeah.
so I put my daughter in her room and she was throwing a temper tantrum. A big one. Huge.
Of course.
And somebody called the cops.
Aww.
And I got a boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And my son goes to the door. Who is it? It's the police. He goes, Mommy, it's the police. I was like, okay. So immediately your heart goes to your stomach.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I open the door and they're like, somebody reported your daughter screaming somewhere in your house and she's saying she needs help and nobody's answering her. And I'm like,
yeah, she needs help.
Yeah, she needs help. Let me tell you, she needs help because I'm going to beat her ass. No. I said, here. I yelled for her to come out of her room and she's crying. And I said, see, turned her all around. I said, she's throwing a temper tantrum, so I put her in her room. And she won't stop screaming in her room. What would you like me to do?
Do you want to take her?
Yeah.
Have her. Take her.
Like, you want to put up with her for a little while? Be my guest. But they actually said the little officer, and I'm saying little, he was littler, but I meant you could tell he was not the head officer.
Rookie.
Yes, thank you. So he said, can I just talk to her? And I'm like, sure, because I have nothing to hide. But of course I get anxious because I'm thinking, well, what could she say?
Yeah.
She's in a mood right now. What could she say to get attention? But I talked to the other officer who was the head officer, and I told him, I'm trying different discipline techniques because my kids are right now kind of out of control. And she's getting to be a teenager and she just needs to be put in her place. And so he goes, oh, well, when you figure it out, please let me know because I'm struggling with it too. And he yelled over at his partner. He goes, hey, we're done here. We're leaving. There's nothing wrong. And the other one goes, well, I'm not done talking to her. And I walk over there and I said, yes, you are.
Bye.
Bye. And I sent her in the house. Yeah. And I shut the door and I'm outside still with them. And he goes, well, your daughter's saying that she's struggling right now. And I'm like, yeah, because she doesn't want to listen. It's a battle right now.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but I'm going to win. I'm the mother. And if she has to sit in her room because she's going to be disobedient, isn't that better than me smacking the shit out of her or putting soap in her mouth or whatever? Because those are things I'm tempted to do.
That's what we got done to us. I don't know how old you are, but I'm 35.
I'm 34.
And let me tell you something.
Oh, man, the wooden spoon?
If this happened, you were crapping out your teeth for a week.
Let me tell you, one time my mom was facing my closet. I'll tell you, I was so scared. She was facing my closet. I don't even remember why she would help me pick out my clothes. I was definitely old enough to, but whatever. She picked something out and went like this, like behind, and I'm behind her. And she goes, "If you roll your eyes one more time." And I just remember I was like,
oh my God.
How did you see me? You know, and yeah, I remember my hair being pulled, my ear being pulled, smacked in the face, beat like with objects, knocked out, like, and then my timeout, whatever, was a day or more, not like however old you are. No, like a day or more.
That doesn't work. I'm sorry, that does not work. It doesn't work. Do you know how many times my kid, I'm going to tell CPS, tell them.
Yeah.
Call them, tell them, please.
My daughter threatened
Tell them what you just did.
My daughter threatened me with that one time. And I said, I'm going to do it for you. And I walked in my room and shut the door and locked it.
Well, see, like I said, I have that one friend, and she is on my phone, and call her. Call her. Call her. Here, let me text her. Da-da-da-da-da. So-and-so did this. So-and-so said they hate me, and that if I whoop them, they're going to call CPS. And she will text back, LOL. That's what she said. Look, LOL.
But, you know, it's scary being a parent these days, especially when you've had a case, because you just never know when you're going to have that knock on your door.
I mean, it's you know, and 6 officers pulled up to my house that day when he decided he was going to terrorize me. 6. They thought the call was that I was beating him. So, hey. So, when they got the real story, all of them but one, and that one just so happens to be part of their daddy's side of the family, which I'm sure that's who called. They all said, you better be glad that is your mom, because if you were mine, I would have beat your ass. The only reason why you're not going to jail today is because she does not want you to go to jail. And before they left, he was crying. He apologizes to each one of the officers. He apologized to me. He apologized to his brother, his sisters, and his stepdad. So everything was good and kosher when they left. So it went from just an investigation of this is bullshit, it's going to be closed, to psychiatric evaluations, psychosocial evaluations, drug evaluations, individual counseling, as well as family counseling and couples therapy. What? Nobody can understand why this case has gone to this extent. The lady that we do the individual and couples and family therapy, when she got the paperwork, she thought there was missing paperwork. She thought there was missing information. She could not understand what was so bad about this case. When she tried to discharge us early, the caseworker said, no, it would look bad on their part if you discharge them early. How would it look bad if it would look bad on you because you wasted the state's money, you wasted your time when there's another Gabriel Fernandez case out there going on, and you're wasting your time with me? You're wasting your time with me, and you have children out there really being abused, really being neglected, that don't get showers. As a matter of fact, there's somebody down the road that has a disabled daughter that sleeps on the floor. I mean, and you're bothering me? You're wasting your time on me. I will do what you asked me to do for now. If anything comes up after the 5th, here's my lawyer's number. Talk to my lawyer. When I had gotten a hold of her supervisor, and I told her supervisor, I'm just trying to figure out what else I need to turn in because my case is about to be closed. I said, whatever her name is, I said she was very aggravated when I talked to her and kept saying that what was the problem or issues that we have. And I kept telling her there's no problems or issues. I'm just trying to not disturb you on your serious cases. You've done it all. I'm not trying to be ugly or rude, but I'm trying to help you. And her supervisor was like, oh, that was very nice of you to try and contact me instead of disturbing her on the real cases. Her supervisor doesn't even understand why this case has gone on to this, because from what I understand, this social worker is the one that referred me to all of this, not her supervisor. She brought it up to her supervisor, and the supervisor just okayed it without even really looking over the case. Okay. I mean, I'll let you do what you think you have to do right now. But anything other than past October 5th, I'm sorry. You can kiss my ass and talk to my lawyer. Because this is insane.
Yeah.
Completely insane.
I really want you to call in on Saturday night, please, because I'm curious as to what he will say.
Well, you're going to have to send me the information, and
Okay.
I will.
When we're done, let me see. Can I see your daughter?
Say hi.
Hi. Hi. Look at that smile.
You see it? Say hi.
Hi. She's so cute.
Thank you.
I'm reading. Somebody wrote something.
Oh. No, not Glue-Glues.
Okay. When we're done, message my assistant and ask her for the number, and she'll give it to you.
Okay. You know, hey. You know, I understand that they. I don't know. I'm stuck because yes, they don't have a real case, but in my head, with all the cases that I have, with all of the accusations that were made, in my head, this particular case just, and I hate the word comply. I absolutely hate that word because you are not a neo-Nazi muffin and I am not a Jew. Do not make me comply. I hate that word.
Yes.
And when I asked her not to use that word, it's like that's every other word that comes out of her mouth. Comply, comply, comply. No, stop. I will try and keep this out of court because the county that I'm in is so small. And that one particular judge has seen me so many times, even with like criminal cases. I don't want to go before him again, dealing with my kids again, because this would be like the 4th time going to court for a CPS case, and like the 30th time with criminal. So it's like I already don't have a good name in the court system. And I did that to myself. And I take full and complete ownership of that. I do. I shouldn't have done what I did, but I did it. I'm sorry. At least now I know when my kids start to act stupid, I know where it can lead to. I'm not
Right.
naive. I didn't want to take this to court. And I know it probably would have been thrown out because that judge probably would have told me, well, you should have beat his ass. But then again, it could have went completely the other way. Oh, well, you can't control your kids. You've already been here so many times. If you ain't got it by now, then you ain't ever going to get it. Take them. And I'm scared.
I know.
Terrified. I'm scared. This is all I got. This is it. These are my kids. These kids are the reason why I'm not a crackhead right now. You know, these kids are the reason that I have a job.
I know.
I mean, kids are not a paycheck, but they're the reason for my paycheck.
Right.
You know, I mean, if I didn't have them, I wouldn't care living under a bridge because I'd be A-okay. But I've got these kids, and these kids love me. They already don't have a daddy. You know, they don't. They have me, and they have each other. That's it. That's
Right.
it. I'm terrified of them. I'm scared.
I get it. I do.
People should not be scared to ask for help.
You're right.
And if you go to a doctor and say, look, I can't control them, I need help, they're going to call CPS.
Yep.
You take them to the emergency room for a broken arm or something, they're going to call CPS.
Yep.
You know, I mean, listen, oh my God. I had a trampoline with this case. No, I did not have a net around my trampoline. My kids are older.
Yeah.
If they fall, they fall. They can fall in the shower.
Right.
So I was told that either I need to get a net or take the trampoline down. I said, well, I'm not getting a net. If you want to go buy me a net, right on, buddy, I'll put it up there. I'm not going to go buy a net. Okay? That's ridiculous. No. I said, but what I will do is I will make sure they do not get on the trampoline unless I'm outside. We smoke cigarettes, but we don't smoke them in the house. We smoke them outside. How about that? So she was like, well, I just don't want to have to pull up over there with my supervisor and they ask, oh, well, did you ask them for a net? Well, hold on, wait. See, now you're pushing it. I called. State law, I do not have to have a net. You cannot force me to get a net. Well, if one of them falls off and cracks their head, then I sure would hate to see you in the prison system instead of at your house. I said, I cannot go to prison if they fall off the trampoline and get hurt. No, not at all. I said, okay. I said, I'll compromise once more. I said, my boys have ADHD. No, they have not been diagnosed, but you can see it. You can see it, okay? You can see it. You can hear it. It's there. They got it. So I said, what would you advise me to do? You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Read a book or watch TV? I said, did you get that out of your ass? I said, do you know what ADHD is?
Yeah.
I said, they can't even hold a book without skitzing out. What are you talking about, dude? I said, are you serious, right? You really told me to watch TV or read a book with ADHD? Oh, that sounds like a perfect idea. I'll send them over to your house to watch.
I was just gonna say
the book.
have them go over there.
Yeah. That's I was. What? Are you serious right now? Read a book? And they have dyslexia, so fun.
Yeah.
great times, lady. What are you talking about?
Wow.
Read a book.
Well, like I said, I look forward to hopefully you talking to us on the show Saturday night. I'm very curious as to what he says. I'm very curious. I want to know about the trampoline thing too. So,
Oh my God. I eventually took the trampoline down because the springs kept popping off and I was scared like it was going to fling into the street and hit somebody on a bike or hit somebody's car, you know. So I took it down. But we got a punching bag and boxing gloves, and they were upset about that too. I said, well, you know what? My kids play outside. They don't sit in front of a TV all day. They don't have Game Boys. They don't have Nintendo systems. They go outside and eat mud, for God's sakes.
yep.
They're hillbillies. They don't even wear shoes.
Yeah. Oh, you better not say that out loud.
I did.
Maybe it's on my bathroom counter.
I did.
I
Well,
know.
do they need shoes? No. They have shoes. They
I'm
just don't wear
kidding.
them. Jeez.
All right.
My sister went out barefoot and she got stung by a bee or a yellow jacket.
Yeah, that stuff hurts, buddy.
Yeah.
It's not
Her
fun.
foot got swollen and they wanted to amputate it off.
She's very allergic.
Take
Thank
it
God.
off.
Thank God we didn't have to do that.
Right? Right? CPS case.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you have bees in your yard?
Yeah, it's not our yard. Live in an apartment.
I mean, come on now.
We were out in the other field all the way over there.
So,
Crazy.
well, I thank you for coming on with me today and sharing your story, and I can't wait to hear from you on Saturday night. I'm really curious about this one, so I want you to call in and ask.
I will.
All right.
I will.
Well, thank you again.
You're welcome. Bye, sweetie.
Bye.
Bye.